It is 10 p.m. in the studios of UBC TV. Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight this Tuesday, the 16th day of April 2024. First though, let's have a look at our main stories. In our top stories tonight, Museveni and Ramaphosa of South Africa hold strengthening ties. Traders start a nationwide business shutdown protesting Euro-Afreximbank tax system. Economist Professor Fred Muhumuza puts out the nationwide business shutdown is an eye-opener. And in sports, Tusker Light Mount Rwenzori Marathon gets World Athletics certification. Hello there and welcome once again on Sign Language. It is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I am Rukidi Edward Kijadangoma, and we are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa talks with President Yoweri Museveni at State House Entebbe. President Ramaphosa, who is in Uganda on a working visit aimed at fortifying bilateral relations between the two nations, headed by South Africa's Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Dr. Naledi Pandor, and Minister in the Presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshavheni. Now, the leaders engaged in discussions on key issues impacting Uganda, South Africa, and the broader African continent. During the deliberations, President Ramaphosa and President Museveni exchanged views on bilateral relations, regional dynamics, and continental affairs, with a shared focus on promoting peace, stability, and economic development across Africa. The leaders reaffirmed their commitment to working together in pursuit of sustainable peace and prosperity, highlighting the importance of cooperation in addressing common challenges. Of particular significance was the discussion on the peace and security situation in the region, where both leaders underscored the need for concerted efforts to ensure stability and mitigate conflicts. They pledged to collaborate closely on security matters, leveraging their respective strengths to contribute to a safer and more secure environment in the region. President Ramaphosa expressed sincere gratitude to President Museveni for the warm reception and hospitality extended during the visit, emphasizing the importance of such engagements in strengthening the bonds of friendship between South Africa and Uganda. On his part, President Yoweri Museveni welcomed the opportunity to deepen cooperation with South Africa and reaffirmed Uganda's commitment to fostering closer ties with its African partners. Now, Kampala's central business district seemed in lockdown with no business as traders from various sectors shut down operations protesting what they call an unfair tax administration and measures and trading conditions. Unlike the partial closures observed on the 8th of April 2024, the shutdown encompasses the entire country, with only a handful of individuals stationed at the entrances of selected shops. Yesterday, the traders' umbrella body, Kasita, declared a sit-down strike protesting a Euro tax system.
Uganda serves as a hub for business among neighboring countries like Tanzania, Rwanda, and Kenya. But it seems the traders' strike will affect business. This is Jack, a Chinese national operating a brake factory. He arrived in the country on April 11th for business, but he says the business situation presents a negative image to foreigners.
Give you very bad memory. That means if some people come from far away, come here. Even for me, you know. So that means now I still have 2 days I should leave. And I have many paperwork, and today I need to meet the dealers and to discuss the business. So if tomorrow is still closed and after tomorrow is closed, so how the business is going on?
With only 2 days left for Jack to leave the country, he claims significant losses due to the ongoing strike and urges the government to respond to the crisis.
So even you ask the high tax, sure, the price will going up and up, up and up. But here, you know, the people getting the very low salary. So that means how they can support their life.
Today, traders started a nationwide sit-down strike. They have closed down shops protesting the electronic physical receipting and invoicing solution, IFRIS system. They demand Uganda Revenue Authority to reverse the system before reopening shops for business.
Naye anze nebaliza abasuubuzi kye bakoze kubanga agali amuge galumenyama. Kino kye bakoze n'oluddako tukole kyennyini kino kubanga omusolo gwe batujjako tegulina kye guyamba. Omusolo abinya bijjudde mu kibuga. Ekitegeeza ffenna tunanga tukwasiza wamu embeera ejja kyuka. Ate teri kupowa.
Starting early morning, there are security deployment of military, police, and the UPDF together with the ununiformed security. They are alert and respond to every eventuality. Doreen Achiria represents many other business owners in downtown Kampala. She calls upon President Yoweri Museveni to intervene.
Excellency, I implore you to prioritize the well-being of the individuals of Uganda and the business community. Because remember, high taxes not only discourage consumer spending, but also investment. If you look at the shops here, most of them have gone empty because local investors have disappeared because of this double taxation. So we request you, because you're the only person right now who can help us.
In the city center, there was no business. Shops were closed and traders either sat around or were standing in groups. They want their concerns addressed.
Eggwanga mwa mwagali tabanguka elijja kutabanguka no singako wano. Omusolo gutuyinze. Emirimu tetukyayina.
Meanwhile, the traders are against the IFRIS system, citing that many traders are unaware of it.
Still pre-industrial. Most people are illiterate. They have cartouche systems. They don't have money to buy the IFRIS. So with the economy being down after COVID, I don't think that's the right system, the right time to introduce the IFRIS system.
So far, there are engagements between traders, leaders, and ministries of finance in Kampala, planning for a meeting with the president over the IFRIS system and the traders' flight.
People started also to closing the shops because there is no answer to His Excellency. But I think now they have called us the real meeting on Friday. I think we shall meet him.
The traders claim the sit-down strike will continue until the demands are met. So far, it is peaceful. Justin Nakami, UBC News.
Now, the standoff between Kampala traders and Uganda Revenue Authority reached a fever pitch Tuesday with a request to meet President Yoweri Museveni to resolve their tax payment-related issues. The traders claim that taxes and the e-receipt fiscal receipting system, IFRIS, plus 18% tax increase is not fair to them.
The standoff between traders and the tax body has been escalated with the number of shops around Kampala under key and lock. Many traders were sighted standing outside their shops. The concerns are still the same. The e-receipt system, increasing the VAT taxes to 18%, and the fiscal receipting system, IFRIS, should be looked at by the authorities.
Naye ng'ensonga eggaziza amaduuka ya e-receipt tetugitegeera ffe ng'abasuubuzi. Tufuna ssente entono, ebizimbe bya bbeeyi, naye abantu bo waggulu abo tebakitegeera.
Officials requesting them to answer our questions. They have refused to answer our questions, but I'm requesting them, humble request. This is a humble request to all government officials which are concerned to issues of the traders, that please come and answer the question that we...
Lunaku olwaleero ebizimbe nga bwe mubiraba byaggaddwawo, abantu tuli mu kwekalakaasa lwa misolo gye batuteekako. Tebatunyonnyola, simanyi ifirizi, abantu ba wansi tetubimanyi ebyo. Tetumanyi, simanyi ifirizi, tumanyi genda ku dduuka n'ogula ne bakuwa lisiiti yo n'ogenda n'okola.
The military and police have been deployed along city streets and suburbs to ensure peace and stability as the standoff continues. The traders' leaders explained that they have been engaging the tax body and the Ministry of Finance to no avail and now want to meet President Yoweri Museveni to have their tax grievance resolved.
So we are expecting positive response about the IFRIs, about the high taxes, import duty, values, enforcement, and what have you. So let us wait on Friday when we shall be having a meeting with His Excellency.
That system, Uchumi, it went away. Nakumat, it went away. ShopRite, it went away. Kampala Cement and the other companies, you can see them going away because this system, nobody can use it and the business remains. Business of Uganda, it is just, we are just
Uganda Revenue Authority meanwhile believes the ongoing sensitization of traders is the way to go. Mary Namkose, Joseph Moyingo, UBC News.
Now, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives has engaged traders on the ongoing controversial implementation of the new taxation system dubbed IFRIS. The Minister of State for Trade Industry, David Bahati, reveals that the engagement has advanced solutions and the update will be presented to Parliament. Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, asked Minister Bahati to present the progress report on Wednesday. IFRIS is a new taxation model which Uganda Revenue Collection introduced to manage the revenue collection through embracing digital technology.
The traders under the umbrella Kampala City Traders Association has put government on pressure after the widespread accusations that the new digital tax model has caused more harm than good. Last week, traders petitioned Parliament through the leader of opposition, Joel Senyonyi.
We think that the government misfired on this because it could enable Musoke bring like 10 containers, but now we fetch it even with one container.
The traders cite double taxation under the electronic fiscal invoicing and receipting solution, which has forced some clients to trade from the neighboring countries.
That our customers who used to come from Rwanda, some by even Kenya, some from Congo and South Sudan, have totally diverted and almost we have donated the market to Kenya.
Parliament asked that the Dual Committee of Parliament, including Finance and Trade, looks into the matter by engaging the traders and the Uganda Revenue Authority on a way forward. During the Tuesday morning plenary session, the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, resurrected the matter after the traders threatened to strike by asking that the shops be closed until government pronounces itself on the matter.
In the same vein, we reiterate our earlier recommendation for the dialogue to amicably resolve any of the sticky issues that are being raised, because it has gone beyond the electronic invoicing.
Speaker Anita Among averts that the traders are ignorant of the amount of tax to be paid in case the IFRIS model is to succeed.
There is a lot of uncertainty on how much tax is being paid, because these people are saying they don't even know how much tax they are supposed to pay. We passed bills here, we are now going to pass again another tax bills. We pass these bills, people don't get to know how much tax they are paying and how it should be paid.
The State Minister for Trade Industry, David Bahati, informed the House of a progressive meeting between government and the traders. The Speaker asked Minister Bahati to address Parliament on Wednesday.
As government, we are engaged now with the traders. As I speak, we are meeting the Honourable Mwebesa and Honourable Mbadi, are meeting with Honourable Kasaija and other leaders of the traders to come up with a solution to the issues being raised.
But some MPs tipped government on the way forward.
Madam Speaker, my prayer, and I'm seeking from the Minister, what do you lose if you fast forward this system? A petition is brought, you got the Committee of Parliament, we see where the challenges are, and this people start working. but they will not continue working unless this tax system collection is still on. That's their major challenge. They are saying it's oppressing them.
You must tell us, because you might come back here and you tell us we will resolve this next week. If you inform us the impact of everyday closure, what is the cost in terms of tax collection? What is the cost in terms of doing business in the country? Then lastly, Right Honourable Speaker, this would be the time where we would be seeing ministers, especially the Minister of Finance, Minister of Trade, sensitizing the public about what is going on.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Bitabinji, UBC News.
Traders in Kampala and some urban centers across the country closed business to protest Uganda Revenue Authority's threshold of annual turnover of 150 million shillings for IFRIS enrollment. Our reporter Dennis Sigoa sought for an expert view on the standoff between the taxman and the business community.
This was Kampala's central business district as traders heeded to the call by Kampala Capital City Traders Association, Kasita, to close business premises until their concerns are addressed. An economist, Professor Fred Muhumuza, sheds light on the situation.
This engagement really is the traders having an issue with government. And quite often you want to escalate issues if you think the other measures have not been exhausted. This is something that has been in the public space, and we have had it coming. We've had their issues. URA has explained itself. The traders have not found that explanation satisfactory. So I think they're escalating this to the next level, and I know that government will come through. But really the main point that people know out there is the issuing of IFRIS.
The standoff, the second in as many weeks, is raising pertinent questions. According to Muhumuza, the business community, who are yet to subscribe to the electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, IFRIS, are afraid of the implications of enrollment.
Those who have not been on IFRIS are looking at it as an infringement. What does URA want to do with the data? Why can't? But also there's the cost of complying. If you have not been using data, now you need full-time data because it's a real-time system. Every time you issue a receipt, you have to interact with the system of URA. And the data cost is an additional cost to them. The gadget may not be that much of an expense because per saying cost is already, but the data cost for people with high volumes of transactions, that can become an issue to deal with. But even others, as we've said, they have seen in the past, the moment you get onto IFRIS, and IFRIS uncovers your past history. You've been telling URA, I sell 2 million a day. Now IFRIS declares you're actually selling 7, so which means you've got to pay more taxes than you have been paying. But quite often URA at times goes in the past to say, now that you've been under declaring, we are going to check your history as well, what they call the historical audit. Now that historical audit, very many people have found challenges with it. It brings up tax obligations you should have paid which you didn't pay, but they really enter into your cash flow.
With no amicable solution yet, with an aggressive revenue body determined to collect significant revenue to finance government operations, the question is, what next?
So I am very hopeful that the meetings that have taken place in government today, the follow-up meetings that will happen even before the president, hopefully even the president won't be necessary, they will resolve it. But we are saying in future, how do we go about some of this? Because listening to the other party to say, now I want this. Because you have the law, you need it, and for a good cause. We need the revenues collected. We need the businesses understood. But what is the cost of compliance on the business? Economics, we sometimes call that transactional costs. That cost of data. Buying the print and the paper to print. And that time of handling one customer now taking 3 minutes instead of half a minute. For busy places like Chikubo, you really don't even have that time. The internet can be off, so you have to wait. Do I issue? Do I not issue? But also the difference between an invoice and cash. I know the people who supply government, there has been that modification. That for them when they issue an invoice, they are not required to pay tax until they have been paid. Because sometimes government knows I delay to pay them. So don't penalize them. Now we are saying the way government delays to pay those who supply it is the same way other people face delays. So how do we roll out that good practice to the other private individuals to say an invoice and the receipt are two separate things. So can we find ways of always discussing the detailed implementation issues before they escalate to this level? And I think that's the way to go.
Dennis Igoa for UBC News in Kampala.
Thanks, Dennis, for that story there. Now, a petition relating to accusation has been referred to the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs. In the petition presented by the Member of Parliament for Kalungu West, Joseph Gonzaga Seungu, the complainants request Parliament to investigate the alleged segregation and violation of the rights of Ugandan Banyarwanda in Uganda. Now, this is the first this is not a fresh matter in the Parliament of Uganda, despite the Speaker of Parliament referring it to the Committee of Defence and Internal Affairs.
The Banyarwanda future in the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
The recent petition by a section of the Ugandan Banyarwanda under the umbrella the Council of the Abavandimwe has been presented to the House by the MP for Kalungu West, Joseph Seungu Gonzaga.
That the Ugandan Banyarwanda have not only been denied passports and national identity cards, but the previous passports held by these persons have been confiscated, which has caused pain, suffering and psychological torture, and has exposed them to abuse and violation and denied them their right of association.
About 11 demands were stated in the petition, which was brought to the Speaker of Parliament recently by the group led by popular activist Frank Kashumba. The group claims that several meetings held with the respective authorities like the Ministry of Internal Affairs and the Director of Immigration have all been futile.
Now therefore, your humble petitioners pray that, 1, Madam Speaker, the relevant Committee of Parliament investigates the segregation and violation of the rights of the Ugandan Banyarwanda in Uganda.
About 2 years ago, while addressing the Parliamentary Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs, Minister for Internal Affairs Kainda Otafire refuted claims of discrimination relating to issuance of passports, among other services.
But then there are these ones at the border, like in Katuna. There is a man who has Katuna. There is a man who has 2 wives. One wife is in Rwanda, or the other one is in Uganda. Now, what are the children? So these are cases you find like at the Mpondwe, Rubiria. This side of Rubiria River, a man has a wife. The other side in the Congo, the man has a wife. Now, what do you do? So sometimes it becomes difficult for immigration officers to be very sure that this person who is applying, especially if they are from the border or,
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, referred the petition to the Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs to investigate the allegations of segregation and violation of the rights of the Ugandan Banyarwanda.
Then on other occasions, they have issued passports only to find that the applicant already has a Rwandese passport. You find somebody has 2 passports, a Ugandan passport and a Rwandese passport, a Ugandan ID card and a Rwandese ID card.
If you have an issue in regard to the petition that has been laid on table,
Now, the government of Uganda has received a donation of $4.3 million to support food and nutrition for refugees in Karamoja sub-region. A contribution from the government of Japan was received by a state minister in charge of refugees in the office of the Prime Minister, Lilian Aber. Now, the year-long donation will help change the nutritional challenges in the region. Now, this was during a joint press conference at the Media Center here in Kampala today.
While receiving the donation commitment from the Japanese Ambassador Sasayama Takuya, Lilian Abba, the minister in charge of relief and refugees in the office of the Prime Minister, commended the Japanese government for the support. She stressed continued support to Uganda due to the increasing number of refugees in the country, close to 1.7 million refugees.
Our resources as government is limited. We are not able to stretch beyond. But one thing that we must recognize government for is playing a key role in coordination, because the office at OPM provides coordination, provides monitoring, evaluation to ensure that all the activities are at play, but also the goodwill. If Uganda had not, the government had not, given the goodwill to host the refugees, that's also a big contribution that we must appreciate government for. But definitely we need to get on board more funding so that we can meet all the needs of our refugees that come to Uganda.
The Japanese ambassador to Uganda, Sasayama Takuya, revealed that this donation will be directed to the most affected areas in form of food security for malnourished communities.
I'm quite proud to announce another 4.3 million contribution from my government for this supplementary budget year. Interest in protecting or focus on women and children who are particularly vulnerable among refugees and displaced persons, and emphasize the importance of concept of women, peace and security, WPS area.
Her Excellency Susan Ngongi Namondo, the United Nations Resident Coordinator, commended the government of Japan for the support.
The supplementary budget allocations will significantly contribute to the UN's work here in Uganda, supporting vulnerable refugees and host communities, as well as people of the Karamoja region. I applaud the government and the people of Japan for this valuable contribution for sustaining the support to refugees and host communities. Japan's commitment to leaving no one behind by focusing on vulnerable people in need of food and nutrition assistance in Karamoja is admirable.
The contribution from Japan will allow the UN to collectively support 1.5 million refugee hosting settlements in northern and southwestern Uganda for the next 12 months. Mike Bakablindi for UBC.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock on my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
The government of Uganda and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics is calling upon all stakeholders such as the chief administrative officers, city mayors, resident city commissioners, city clerks, city and division councillors, wards and LC chairpersons, as well as the residents and business communities to cooperate with the UBOS field teams as we embark on advanced preparations to conduct the National Population and Housing Census on the 10th of May 2024. The census will be a 10-day exercise to obtain statistical data and information that will be used for planning and policy formulation, including information on 1. How many we are, 2. Where we are, 3. How we are living, 4. What we own, and 5. Where we access services from. The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has now started listing of households and mapping in the 11 cities of Arua, Fort Portal, Gulu, Hoima, Jinja, Lira, Mbale, Masaka, Mbarara, Soroti, and in the Greater Kampala comprising of Kampala, Wakiso, and Mukono districts. For more information, please call 0755 342 128 or 0773 342 128. This message is brought to you by the Executive Director and Census Commissioner, Uganda Bureau of Statistics. Census 2024. It matters to be counted.
After the
massive launch of the Museveni Awoma hit song in Kololo, Mukono, Nabweru Wakiso District and Masulita War Zone. Munamasa Kansereko Emma takes Museveni Awoma to Mityana on Friday, the 26th of April 2024 at Mityana Saza Ground. We shall start with Bulungi Wansi, a health camp, and then a boom of entertainment with thousands of comedians and artists, all at a free entry. Anti-Jaja Gabude, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will be our chief guest. Come, let's have fun with Jaja. Don't miss.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. The International War Crimes Division Court has confirmed charges and committed 8 suspects in the murder case of AIGP Andrew Felix Kaweesi to the High Court for trial. The ruling by Lady Justice Alice Komhanji Kauka, prosecution has proven to court with the required evidence to have the accused ready for full trial.
The 8 accused persons in the murder case of AIGP Andrew Felix Kaweesi, his driver Kenneth Elau, and bodyguard Godfrey Mwambewa have appeared at the International War Crimes Division Court in Kampala for confirmation of the charges against them. In a ruling read on the behalf of Lady Justice Alice Komhanji Kauka, court confirmed all the 7 counts against the accused.
Count 4 is aggravated robbery contrary to section 285 and 286, 2 and 3 of the Penal Code Act. And on that charge too, it is confirmed for all the 7 of you, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6, and A7. They find that you were. The charge of aggravated robbery is confirmed against all of you.
Judge Komhanji was also of the view that the ingredients presented by the prosecution prove beyond the required standard to have the accused for a full trial.
Kalyango Jibril, aka Abdul Aisha, who is A6, Nyanzi Yusuf Siraj, A7, and Kasuja Shafiq, A8. All the accused persons are accordingly forwarded for trial on the confirmed charges, and that is the order of court.
Prosecution will depend on the exhibits, among others, call data records, FBI reports, statements from witnesses, accused and police officers, laboratory reports, sketch plan, projectiles, cartridges and mobile phones.
Charges in count 5 are hereby confirmed against Kasuja Shafiq, A8. Charges in count 6 are hereby confirmed against all the accused persons, namely Abdurrashid Mbazira Buyondo Mohammed, A1, Higenya Ramazan Nurdin, aka Tata Abdulazak, who is A2, Mugerwa Yusuf.
Prosecution alleged to have evidence that the 8 accused persons used the actual violence and deadly weapons to murder AIGP Andrew Felix Kaweesi, Kenneth Elau, and Godfrey Mwambewa. Lawyers representing the accused said they are set to start the hearing of the case.
Of course, what the court has based on is the evidence which they provided to us by the state. The state provided several documentary evidence, including statements. The court has also provided, or we did physical inspection, we saw several evidence. Now, court has based on that. However, that is not enough. We are going to the actual hearing of this matter. And actual hearing involves bringing all the witnesses, as they have disclosed to us, involves bringing all the evidence in court, bringing whatever information they have for cross-examination. And we believe during cross-examination.
However, since the accused, Kasuja Shafiq, jumped bail to DRC, the court committed him in his absence.
And court goes on to note that it is important to note that A8 jumped bail and efforts of the prosecution to trace him were futile, as he is said to have crossed to the DRC. Prosecution filed criminal application number 17 of 2023 in which they prayed for orders to have A8 tried in his absence, and this court allowed the application and granted the order. A8 is therefore bound by this ruling even in his absence.
AIGP Andrew Felix Kawes, driver and bodyguard, were murdered in cold blood on 17th May 2017 in Kulambiro Tabu Nakawa Division, Kampala District. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Will remain in the courts of law momentarily, where prosecution has disclosed to defense 7 files containing evidence it will rely on during the trial, where 9 people belonging to the ADF are accused of attempted murder of Principal Judge Dr. Flavian Nzeja. Now, prosecution disclosed this during the pre-trial hearing of the case before Judge Alice Komhanji Kauka.
The International War Crimes Division Court before Judge Alice Komhanji Kauka is still proceeding with a pre-trial hearing of the case against 9 suspects. The 9 are facing charges of attempted murder of Principal Judge Dr. Flavian Nzeja, his bodyguard and driver. They are also accused of belonging to terrorist organization ADF and murdering Ogwang Robert Charles, Police Constable Otim Lawrence, Amuliat James, Mutengula Suman, Tenywa Kasim, Ogwang Moses, among others. When the accused appeared in court, prosecution led by Thomas Jatiko informed court that they have disclosed to defense 7 files containing evidence.
My lord, that has left 6 volumes that are presently being compiled. My lord, these volumes are presently being compiled as we speak, and therefore we have not been able to inspect the physical exhibits as instructed or directed by this honorable court.
Prosecution prayed to court to allow them to do more disclosures to defense, which prayers were not objected by the defense legal team.
And also be able to have the physical exhibits collected in one central place as they are distributed at the 2 laboratories, that is the Government Analytical Laboratory and the Uganda Police Forensics.
Geoffrey Tuyamsima, lawyer for the accused, asked court to grant him time to file the torture application for the 3 accused persons.
Our clients were tortured then. Of course, the application is coming now. When we were in the lower court, they continuously informed court about the same torture they faced or they passed through, all of them. But we are going to do this application in phases. This week we are going to file for 3. Another week we shall file for other 3 until we complete 9 of them. Of course, prior his arrest, he was a very stable young man. He was moving. He had gone to work in Masaka by the time he was arrested. Now, his torture started the moment they arrested him into a van, from the van until several places where he was put.
Judge Alice Komhanji Kauka set 21st May 2024 for both parties to file the required documents.
I've also taken note of the volumes that they have to disclose, and so I have allowed the application for the adjournment, and I've adjourned this case to the 21st of May at 9:30 a.m. The accused persons will further remanded till then.
Prosecution says the 9 accused persons committed the alleged offences in the district of Kampala, Iganga, Luwera and Mityana. The 9 have been further remanded to Luzira Government Prison. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
To news pertaining to Rotary activities now, and the 99th District Conference for District 9213 is expected to be an inspiration, igniting hope and highlighting Rotary's commitment to creating a meaningful impact in communities across the globe. This 3-day conference will shine a spotlight on exceptional achievements, with Rotary clubs receiving prestigious awards in recognition of their outstanding contributions. Sudat Kaye reports.
District Governor of District 9213, Edward Kakembo Nsubuga, has emphasized uplifting the boy child through Rotary's initiatives.
For the last 30 years, the focus has been on the girl child. and that way brought a problem within the community and within society. I think along the way boys lost confidence because all the programs were gearing at girl child, and for the last 30 years, the girls have been supported, and right now girls are doing so well. I've been telling Rotarians wherever I've been going, visiting the 123 clubs all over the country, that the boy child now is an endangered species, and I'm sure we agree with me. We have empowered girl children like Beatrice, Ugarambi, Carol, and so on. And I've been telling Rotarians that it's time now to do a paradigm shift to look into the affair of the boy child.
The event unites Rotarians and Rotaractors from diverse backgrounds to celebrate collective efforts towards driving positive change.
We meet as Rotarians to compare notes. We come from different clubs. There are over 5,000 Rotarians in our district, and we meet to compare notes, to compare what each club is doing. If there's a club X doing a project in water, there will be a club doing a project in education, there will be a club doing a project in economic empowerment. So we come together and compare notes on how we can do projects better.
The event will converge Rotarians and Rotaractors from diverse backgrounds to celebrate their effective efforts.
The very first objective of us meeting together is to compare notes, to look at the plans and the projects that we have in each of the clubs, and see how we can work with each other to improve our community.
The critical need to maximize resources without compromising them for future generation was emphasized.
I call on everyone to use resources responsibly as we contribute to the greater good of our society. If you are not yet part of the Rotary, please join or be part of your community initiatives to keep that hope alive, as per the theme for Rotary this year of keeping hope alive.
Sudat Kaye and Jamil Sekaja, UBC News.
Now, Director of Mobilization in NRM, Rosemary Seninde, has urged pressure groups in the country to uphold party structures. Seninde made the remarks at the launch of a pressure group named Tonta, which aims to highlight the positive achievements of the NRM party in Mukono district.
NRM leaders in Wakiso district have pledged to secure all positions in their constituencies.
But I also call upon the structures to also respect whoever comes out, to show love and voluntarism to support the NRM party. So I want to appreciate all the good things His Excellency the President has done for the country and all the contributions and all his achievements. As NRM, we are popularizing and we are promoting and appreciating the top 10 achievements of His Excellency the President. We are going to popularize this throughout the country because we want the people to always remember and stop this business of saying NRM has done nothing, Civic has done nothing. When you do good, you appreciate it.
NRM members in Mukono warmly welcomed Director Seninde as she opened the Tonta offices.
But I know whoever adds a brick to the development and the promotion of NRM must be supported. And I want to make this very clear as the national mobilizer of the NRM party that we are going to work with everyone who adds value to the development and the voice of NRM, including all the pressure groups in the country. But more so, I want to appeal to our people, the pressure groups, our structures. Once we respect each other and we remember that NRM is still in power for many more years, we can only achieve that if we respect one another.
During the event, the chairperson of the Tonta group, Katabira Sadat, became emotional while explaining the challenges NRM members face in Mukono district.
Tulowooza nti Pulezidenti Museveni alina bajeti nnene ne ssente nnyingi, naye ffe ng'abakulembeze buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe okugaziya butya bwe zituuka ku bantu ne basobola okwejja mu bwavu.
Sirubiri Frank elaborated on the strategies for securing NRM positions in Mukono district, emphasizing the importance of effective campaigning and mobilization efforts. Sudat Kai, BBC News.
Now, the Executive Director, National Children Authority, Martin Kiza, is concerned about the escalating cases of child abuse in the country and calls upon Ugandans to monitor their children. He says exploitation of children under the age of 18 years is a crime.
National Children's Authority condemned and warned those who cause harm to children under 18 years to stop it immediately before the law takes action against them.
Any person below 18 years and of school-going age must be at school. But we find some of these children are being harassed, tortured by housemaids. So please, parents, as you bring on board a housemaid or any other helper or a domestic worker for that matter, try to trace his or her home background, original place where she comes or he comes from, so that when there is any problem, it is easy for you to track.
Parents were urged to be responsible for their children and condemned those who abuse children.
We are saying that children should be monitored wherever they go, whatever they do. Please, parents, please, caretakers, make sure that you give time to your children and make sure that whatever they do, wherever they go, much as it would be challenging, make sure that you are aware of their movements.
Martin Kiza urged local council authorities to pay attention to children in communities to ensure that they are not abused.
And we call upon local council for children affairs to out there in the communities. Please take these concerns as very serious. So please, Secretary for Children Affairs, help us in ensuring that children are given that attention they deserve in terms of promoting their protection within your areas of jurisdiction.
He also condemned some parents like stepmothers who abuse and torture their children.
Some of the stepmothers have taken up this habit of harassing the stepchildren. But why? Children are innocent.
We'll take yet another short break and return with the latest in business.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the
Osmosis.
Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're so tingy. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The Parish Development Model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
ebiseera by'okuzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripsi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *165*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu eya Uganda.
Welcome back from that break. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Sensitization of farmers on proper application of fertilizers has been singled out as a remedy to reducing fertilizer wastage while improving nutrient uptake in farms to propel agricultural productivity. Now, this follows allegations that use of fertilizers leads to depletion of nutrients.
Farmers are using fertilizers in addition to the different farming methods like irrigation. But in Uganda, farmers are unaware of the right type of fertilizers applied and quantities, among other specifications. Kayuki Kaizi, a senior researcher at the National Agricultural Research Organization, NARO, says that this, coupled with the already depleted ecosystems in soils countrywide, has exacerbated low productivity.
Agro-input dealers selling fertilizer, they don't know what they are selling. The extension officers are supposed to advise the farmers. They have limited knowledge on fertilizer use. And the farmers who are buying fertilizer, they don't know what they are buying. Fertilizer is a technology which needs information because ideally our soils, they don't have nutrients. And they have been mined, soils are like a bank account. So go for the right fertilizer. When you buy it, apply using the right method.
Matthew Kule, an agronomist at the International Fertilizer Development Center in Uganda, agrees.
And that's why we are promoting the balanced fertilizer application, observing the 4R, which define the stewardship for fertilizer use. The first R stands for the right fertilizer type. And the second R stands for the right time to apply the fertilizer. The other R is the right placement of the fertilizer. Once you don't place it in the right place, then it's likely to stray into the environment and cause degradation to the ecosystem. So we highly encourage the farmers to take advice from the extension workers who of course rely on the fertilizer recommendations that we are developing.
This was during a stakeholders engagement organized by the International Fertilizer Development Center, IFDC, Uganda chapter.
IFDC has operated in Uganda since September 2012, and we have successfully implemented various projects to enhance agricultural practices and rural development.
Paul Mwambu, a commissioner in charge of crop inspection and certification at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, represented the line minister, Bright Ramirama, at the event.
We are not merely commemorating 50 years of remarkable achievements. We are also reaffirming our commitment to the noble cause of advancing agriculture in Uganda. The agricultural sector is not only the backbone of our economy, but also a crucial lifeline for millions of fellow citizens, particularly the smallholder farmers who toil tirelessly to feed our nation.
The International Fertilizer Development Center supplements international efforts in catalyzing farm productivity through developing better technologies in the agricultural sector. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Now, the Commissioner, Community Development and Literacy in the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Everest Tumwesige, has appealed to residents of Umge Village, Madoa Sub-County, Namayingo District to embrace the skilling program provided by DVV International. He said this during a courtesy visit to Namayingo District by a delegation from DVV International and the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development.
Skilling has become a household name, especially in areas where there are more youth. At Madoa Learning Center in Namayingo District, the Commissioner, Community Development Center and Literacy from the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Everest Tumwesige, appealed to locals on skilling.
Ignorance is the worst disease. To have over 12 million Ugandans who are not able to read and write, my passionate call is that we should embrace adult learning and community education programs so that they are not left behind the development of our country.
The Chairperson Board of Governors of DVV International, Martin Rabanas, explained the major vision of DVV in Uganda.
So I think you can be very proud, all of you. We say the power and joy of
Namayingo district leaders called upon locals of Namayingo to embrace the skilling program.
We must say that we are very proud of this development. This initiative has helped many of our people who had lost an opportunity to access formal education.
So this program is very important, even though we are among the 4 districts piloting.
Key achievements are in hairdressing, weaving, agriculture, among others. I'm Benon Mukwaya in Namayingo.
Now, Bitwaichi Parish Development Model Advisor, Dr. Constantine Bitwaichi, has advocated for great sensitization if government programs are to be initiated in communities. Take a watch.
And again, we bought some pesticides.
In a bid to improve government programs like Parish Development Model PDM, the UBC advised on issues of PDM, Dr. Constantine Bitwaichi and team toward Rampala District to monitor how the program works.
What we are finding on the ground is that indeed money arrived, but they say in each group only 2 people have received as far as the money so far which has been disbursed. So you can see it is going to take a bit of a long time for everybody to get money, but at least the money they got 170 million. So far 2 people in each of their groups have received the money and they are using it. And basically they are covering about 3 types of phases. Most of them are buying fertilizers for their banana plantations. Others are planting coffee, and then others are doing some bit of pottery.
I purchased manure, I purchased some marshes. So you can now compare this field with the other one. There is a big difference for improvement.
Jom Hanj, one of the beneficiaries from Rees Sub-County, Rampala District, explains how she has benefited from Parish Development Model funds.
I would wish that if the government can give me more money, I would do the other part, and it looks like this one. So if we can get the money to improve on the other whatever and some areas of weak places, I would appreciate the government.
They invested the money in planting coffee and improving our plantation, and they are hopeful of earning big from the investment.
We have a problem of pests. There are very many, we spray, we do what, but pests are very many this side. So I wish the government can intervene.
Niwango Majoram, the chairperson LC2, Rees Rampala District, commended government for PDM, which he says is uplifting people's standards of living.
We need to have workshops so that people know how they should use that money. Like for us in my parish, we have agreed to make a circle, PDM circle, whereby every member will be paying 50,000.
Abamwe bine ntoke noshanga ekitoke nakiguze emitwaro 5, abamwe bine embuzi nakiguze emitwaro 20. Ezo sente zigiro mu PDM. So ni nsima government munonga kureta ezo programu bakatumanya nkitwe nkabarema kandi bakatuha percent yitu.
Special thanks goes to our president, Mr. Yoweri Museveni, for empowering women, most especially me as the chairperson of the sub-county. Is very great.
Deborah Namamonde, Nelson Yakatulira, UBC News.
Now, agriculturalists have called for farmers to adopt climate-smart agriculture for sustainable agriculture production to combat climate change and food insecurity. Now, this was said by the representative of the Food and Agriculture Organization in Uganda, Antonio Quarito, during the 2024 Agribusiness Conference held in Kampala.
30% of global emission comes from the agriculture sector. So which means that as a sector, we need to do also our best to contribute to this global challenge that we have. So we see that mechanization is definitely one key aspect for us to improve our productivity. We cannot continue to think that we can end hunger in our continent, continue to use hoes only. Given the amount of the land, given population pressure, that means that we need to mechanize.
As a sector, agriculture is contributing over 50% list in terms of, again, productivity, employment. However, there is much more to be done to get a sector for which employs that amount of people and yet contributing that amount.
The agricultural sector offers the highest job opportunities for the Ugandan people, and this means that this sector is quite key and a priority for the national development plans. So when we look at agriculture as a whole, it's a big industry. You can look at different cash crops, but also you can look at tree growing as a commercial.
Now, the more urban centers emerge in Uganda, social and health challenges double. So there is a need to address poor waste management, a reason why a new project has been launched in Kampala, Uganda. Senior Manager Environment Enforcement at National Environment Management Authority, Victor Nahabwe, wants waste actively turned into treasure. Henry Okrot reports.
A few weeks ago, a busy street in one of the created cities in eastern Uganda looked like this. Stagnant water filled the place as plastic waste littered all over. Therefore, it was poor waste management, a trend that environmentalists are seeking to change.
In developing countries like Uganda today, over 50% of the waste is organic, and when disposed of to the landfills and dump sites, it decomposes, generating greenhouse gas emissions. Besides contributing to the emissions, the organic waste is also lost instead of being reused.
The rapid and unauthorized growth of urban areas is said to be outpacing the ability of urban authorities to provide environmental management services. The launch of this Uganda Sector Strategy for Organic Waste Management project is timely.
It will be an exciting opportunity for where we shall all be able to learn and see the new initiatives or developments in waste management and how best we can all tap into that to minimize or mitigate the climate change effects.
The initiative is a brainchild of Climate and Clean Air Coalition and the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis, as well as Stellenbosch University.
The first one is to co-develop with all of you, of the stakeholders, the National SLCP mitigation strategy for organic waste that is aligned with the policies, and also long-term policy recommendations to the national government.
For those of you who have been in Kampala, know the aspect of the two-wheelers. So we want just transition interventions for the borders. How do we decarbonize the two-wheelers? Do we just get rid of them from the city? Would that be just? Would it be sustainable?
The mission will enhance the capacity of relevant national institutions to promote action on waste separation and the extraction of value from organic waste. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Now, Absa Uganda revenue has risen to 494 billion shillings, delivering 146 billion shillings in profit after tax. Now, the growth in revenue was largely driven by a 42% growth in transactional banking and trading income. The bank anticipates a continued growth in the economy driven by increased investment in the oil and gas sector and the expansion in regional trade.
Absa Bank Uganda has reported a growth in revenue by Uganda shilling 64 billion, amounting to 15.6% growth from the previous year and resulting in a profit after tax of 146 billion shillings, and this is according to the financial result for the year ended December 2023.
The growth in profit is attributed largely by the revenue growth from both funded and non-funded income. And like I said, largely driven by business recovery and improved economic environment. The bank, in addition, realized a growth of 4.9% in customer loans and advances, closing the year 2023 at 1.78 trillion Ugandan shillings. That is a growth of around 200 billion year on year.
The bank registered a growth in revenue by 64 billion shillings, 146 billion shillings in profit after tax, a 12.9% growth in net customer loans standing at 1.7 trillion shillings, and a 16.3% growth in customer deposits amounting to 2.45 trillion shillings.
But we also did see good traction in terms of business banking, and this is where the SME segment falls. We've seen continued lending in that direction, and the engagements continue. I think in terms of retail, the retail customer is still cautious, trying to ensure that there is stability and caution. So we have seen growth in that area, but in comparison to the others, I think the corporate or wholesale side seemingly is doing much better.
Absa's performance is underpinned by the 5.2% growth in the economy in 2023 amid various macroeconomic challenges, including underlying inflationary pressures.
One of the things that we pride the Ugandan financial market sector for is proactiveness of the regulator. If you recall, in the month of March, as a response to the currency fluctuations, unprecedented currency fluctuations, we saw of around 5% in February. The regulator moved quite swiftly to move the CBR rate up to 10%, and that was necessary in order to ensure there was financial stability in the financial markets.
The 2023 Absa Africa Financial Markets Index ranked Uganda as the highest growing financial market within the East African region and the fourth in the African continent. Dennis Igoa for UBC Business.
And that story brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for having kept us company. On sign language, it has been Elizabeth Nakakoni, and I am Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night. But we'll leave you with the weather forecast for tomorrow with Ainebiuna Jasper.
Hello, once
again, we update you with our daily weather forecast from the Ghana National Meteorological Authority. I'm Jasper Ainabiona. Rains are still continuing over most parts of the country, and these are due to the ridge over the South Africa that is pushing the most winds towards our country, leaving other factors constant like Lake Victoria Basin that is also influencing our weather system. And therefore, tomorrow morning, we wake up with light rains across Kampala, Masaka, and the rest partly cloudy conditions will be expected. For the western parts of the country, we are anticipating partly cloudy conditions apart from Kasese, where sunny intervals will be expected, and also in Kabale, sunny intervals will be expected. For the eastern parts of the country, partly cloudy conditions will be expected, the entire region. And northern parts of the country, we are forecasting sunny intervals together with a mixture of partly cloudy conditions. Later in the afternoon, we shall see the central region with a high of 27 degrees Celsius, light rains, and also Masaka light rains will be expected with a high of 28 degrees Celsius, and for Nakasongola, light thunder rains will be expected with a high of 28 degrees Celsius. For Kasese, still in the afternoon, we are forecasting light rains with a high of 28 degrees Celsius, and in Barath, light thunder rains will be expected with a high of 25 degrees Celsius, while Kigezi Highland, light rains will be expected with a high of 23 degrees Celsius. Eastern stretch, we are forecasting light rains with a high of 29 degrees Celsius. Across Jinja and Toro, 29 degrees Celsius, light thunder rains will be expected. For the northern stretch, we are forecasting Lila to have light thunder rains with a high of 29 degrees Celsius, and the rest light rains will be expected, and temperatures will be around 29 to 30 degrees Celsius. Across the globe, we are anticipating sunny intervals around Nairobi with a high of 27 degrees Celsius, and London, light rains will be expected with a high of 12 degrees Celsius, while Dubai, partly cloudy conditions with a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Thank you so much. You can always watch our daily weather forecast from the YouTube and also on our website. Good evening.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good tax policies strike a balance between generating revenue for public services, promoting economic growth, and ensuring fairness in the distribution of the tax burden. To ensure good tax policies, the government, through the Line Ministry, pays attention to fiscal sustainability, promoting research and development to allow innovation, simplicity, and transparency to help the citizens understand their obligations, efficiency in tax administration, and progressive taxation to balance the tax burden among the population. This week on your favorite program, Behind the Headlines, with your host Timothy Nyangweso and a team of distinguished panelists with deep knowledge on taxation and policy will share their thoughts on taxation at 10 p.m. Be part of the discussion online and on mobile.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Buli munya-Uganda nayitinga amakuru marungi. UBC West eyina amakuru marungi kandi agali kwesigwa. Leero za program zaayo ziri omu Runyakitara hamwe n'Orufumbira. UBC West eyina tekinologiya ey'omulembe eri kugibaasisa kuhika omu bicweka byona omu ihanga nangu n'aheeru y'eihanga. Tukwatire aha frequencies ezi: Kisoro 97.7 Fama, Kabale 93.7 Fama, Hoima 99.1 Fama, Kampala 105.7 Fama, Mbarara 97.4 Fama, Footpoto 98.8 Fama, Masindi 5 Fama. Kurikiriza UBC West ohurire embaganiza. UBC West empika huna.
This week on UBC.
As a child, I've always been so jolly, like so annoyingly. Like I was called, they used to always call me happy. Like I was too happy all the time. I was that child that's always smiling, always happy. I would always find ways of, making people smile. Like I've always been, trust me, my body is covered in scars from climbing trees and
climbing flowers.
I think it's because I'm from the Nchima clan. That's why I was like a little monkey, always climbing everything. Yeah, I was the school entertainer. I used to entertain people.
Were you the music prefect?
Everything. No, not prefect. I didn't have any titles, but I was one of those people that if there's fun, just know I'm part of organizing it. Yeah.
She is one and only Nantongo Deborah.
On my very first time on that job, someone died in my arms. Like, I remember I was being trained and this person, like, we're giving them like a bed wash. And then she got like I was like, oh, she's really cold. And then they called the nurse. They're like, oh, ring the bell. She's really, the nurse came, she's like, oh, looks like she's just passed away. I'm like, she's just died like right now.
And you're holding her.
I remember there's a lady called Lillian. Even thinking about her makes me want to cry.
Sorry.
She was called Lillian. She was so sweet.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
All on your public broadcaster, UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Did you know that our #1 value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC.